Good morning. So, today I am going to go through how to use the Unreal ModLoader by Russell or Russell J. And it's pretty simple. You make a mod pack with a ModActor and a widget and some stuff in it. But let's go through how to do it. So, first of all, you will need the Epic Games Launcher. You want to go to the library and you want to install whatever version you want. So you can pick out of, if you can't see this, you click on the plus here to add an Unreal Engine version, and then you can select which version it is that you want. So in my case, it's well, actually, let's make sure that you know how to know what version your game is using. So go to your games folder. So in my case, it's Steam, Steam Apps, Common, and then Session. Then you go to Session Game. So this is basically game folder. Think of this for any Unreal Engine game. You can think of this as game, like that. And then this right here is, well, this is the actual game, but think of this as like game name. So this is like the name of the actual game. So the exe name right here as well. So, and then you go into the game name folder or session game, and then binaries, Win64, and then if you hover over the exe, you'll see file version 4.26.1. That means this is 4.26.1, and I have 4.26.2. That works fine with each other. Like most of the major versions like this, 26, 4.26 or whatever, work with most of the minor updates. So if you can't see it like that, you can try going to properties and details, and then you'll see this sometimes product version 4.26 seal 0, and then or this. And if you can't find that, then you can search for UE4. So if you grab a hex editor real quick. So sometimes you can just pull the exe in here like that. If you go to properties here, I'm just going to make sure. And then if you search in here, find string, and you do like UE4 all, search all, sometimes you will be able to find, oh yeah, so you have to search, I think, for Unicode, search. And then sometimes what you can do here is you can find, so right here, you see UE4 release 4.26, May 26 to 0.21, blah, blah, blah. So I guess that's one way of doing it. There is, so I guess what you can do to find the version is plus, what is it? Plus UE4 plus search. And then usually that you'll find a version like that. So that's how to find the version. So now let's go. So download your version and launch it. So 4.26.2 in my case. And then I have a few different ones here. Oh yeah, I'm making a van design. I'm building an RV out of a van. It's kind of a fun project. But enough about that. Click on categories, you click on games. Go to next. And then if your game is a first-person shooter, you kind of want to select that because it's nice to have things to reference. If your game is like a flying or a puzzle or rolling, whatever kind of game here that yours matches, if it's a VR game, you probably want to choose that. But in my case, this is a third-person game, so usually I want that. So click next. And then you can select either a Blueprint project or a C++ project. What's nice about a Blueprint project, though, is that no matter really what you choose, well, if you choose a Blueprint project, you can just kind of add a C++ class anyway and turn it into a hybrid or like a C++ project. So, right. Then set it to a Blueprint project. I would advise. I would say use starter content because then you have things to play around with and reference and stuff. So yes. So these are the settings I would advise you to use. If you want ray tracing enabled, then go ahead. You can probably enable that later though. So now, what do you want to give? Like, what do you want to call the project? This is where you need to know the game name. So this is the game folder, and this is the game name folder, the one that's next to the engine folder and the small exe, the launcher exe. So this name of this folder right here, and this folder usually contains a binaries and a content, usually not a config, but sometimes. Binary and content. So this folder, you copy that name, and you put that right there, and you create project. You need to do that. It's you should always do that when you make mods, to be honest. Call it the same thing, because otherwise some things may not work. Right, so now we're creating a project called session game. Okay, so now we can, we can play around with this. But what we want to do now is we want to go ahead to enable something called pack chunking, which is where you chunk the pack files. You put the files into different chunks. So you go to project settings, and then you go to packaging, and you go here, generate chunks, and you hit true on that. Now you can just save. I think it automatically saves when you change those settings anyway, but go ahead and save. Then what you want to do is you want to make a folder in the content folder here. You want to make a folder. You want to call it mods. Right? So this is the folder that we will be packing. None of this other stuff will be packed. Only this mods folder we will pack. So in mods, what we want to do is we want to make another folder, and we want to give it the name of our mod. So, and this is important. So you want to call this, in my case, ghphere BP mod, for instance. So let's call it that and save. So ghphere BP mod. And then inside of that, well, of course you can call that whatever you want, but this is my name. So inside of it, you want to create an actor. So you go to Blueprint class. So let's do that again. Right click, go to Blueprint class, go to actor, and then you want to call this ModActor, like that. Hit save. Save current. Well, that really only saves the scene, but yeah. So now we have the ModActor, which is awesome. So now what you want to do is open up the ModActor. So double click it, and inside of this huge thing, we want to click on event graph, and we will have a few nodes here. These are all important things, but in our case, we want to create our own custom events. So I would always advise unchecking this because it's garbage. So now what we want to do, Jesus Christ, I can't speak. What we want to do is we want to create custom events. So you do you type custom event, and that'll say add custom event. You click yes. Now we want to add another one. So add custom event. Now we have two of these. And now you want to give these very specific names. So you click on this and go up to name. on the upper right corner here, and you want to call this pre-begin play. It's very important that you do this correctly. This one you want to call post-begin play. Okay. So now we have two nodes with a slightly different functionality. Usually you want to just use post-begin play to get the ball rolling here with your ModActor. So now we want to be able to know if our mod is being loaded, and we want to know that, early on. So what we want to do now is minimize that and right-click in your BP, in your GHP or BP mod, or in your mod folder. Right-click, go to User Interface, and then go to Widget Blueprint. This is a widget UI. You can call this something like mod UI, for instance. You can call it whatever you want, but mod UI is what I call it. And then you want to make your UI inside of this. So we just want to make something where we can see if this is being loaded. So in here we have different things like buttons, progress bars, which work like this, where it's you change this real time, and you can track progress of things. But in my case now, I just want text. So I just want some text up in this corner, and I'm just gonna say mod loaded in this case. So mod loaded, and then this here is an anchor point. And usually what you want this to be anchored in the center of your mod, usually. That'll make sure that it's anchored to that very point at all times when you resize the screen. So now compile it, and then when you have your UI done, you want to spawn your widget. And how do you spawn this widget? Well, you go back into ModActor, which is, of course, your ModActor here. You can just go back here and click it if you can't find it. And then on post begin play, you want to drag out, and you want to do create widget, like that. And you can do owning player, but you don't really need to. But yeah, in my case, I'm not going to care about that now. And then you can find in here mod UI. You compile that. So, and then you want to show it. So now we've created this. We want to show it. So we drag out again and do add to viewport. This will then show our UI on screen. You have to hook it up though to your UI. So you hook it up like that. Boom. Now you can set your, well, actually you can try using z order 0 for now. This is the order of which the widgets are placed for visibility. And if you can't see it, sometimes you can change this to like a higher number and you can see it, but I'm just going to use 0 for now. Alright, 0. And one other thing I would advise you doing, instead of doing this, when you create it like this, I would advise you to right-click this and do promote to variable, and then this, and then add to viewport, and then you call this variable that we created. It's down here. These are variables. So this variable you want to call like mod UI. So then what you can do is you can grab your mod UI, pull it out, and get mod UI, and then plug that into add to viewport. What this really does now is creates a variable. You can make it a public variable if you want to change it. We don't really, yeah, it doesn't matter. But what this now does is lets us reach this, for instance, easily from inside something else. So, yeah. you don't need to care about that. You can just plug it in if you want to, but I do this. So when this is all set up, we can test this to see if this works. And to test this, post begin play and pre begin play, these are custom events that won't really work for us because these are events that aren't really being like called. They're not really, yeah, nothing's calling these events. So we can just do event begin play this time to create mod UI. And then in our scene, so let's pretend this is our game session. You just pull in the mod actor and start the game. And boom, mod loaded. So what this really does now is we plug this into our scene. This then is triggered, event begin play, when we begin playing the game, which then triggers create mod UI widget. When that's created, it's then being this variable mod UI is being set to a reference of this widget. We then add to viewport the reference here in the variable. So we add our actual mod UI to the viewport. So that's what's happening. What will happen though in a mod pack is the mod loader. The mod loader will trigger this, a custom event, post begin play. So that it will do the same thing, basically. So let's test it. So how do we test this? By the way, make sure you save when everything's done like this. So how do we test it? And how do we pack this? Well, it's pretty easy. So what you do is you make something called an asset label. So you right click in here, and then you go to miscellaneous here, and then you go to data asset, I think. Yeah, I think. Wait. Yeah, data asset. And you do data, asset. Here we go. Primary asset label. So this lets us create custom packs. This basically tells the chunk packing what to package into what chunks. So we call this something like, we can call it anything we want. We can just do this new data asset, but let's do mod data asset label, save, and then go inside of the mod data asset label. Now, what you want to do is you want to set something like a chunk ID. And what -1 does, it just makes this the newest one, if I remember correctly. But if we want to test this now, what we can do is make this 1, which will make this 1 step above 0. And what you want to do is you want to check what the game you're playing around with. You want to check how many packs that has. So you want to go into session game, content, and then packs. Now this game has, oh yeah, it's using chunks too. It's only one chunk though. So pack chunks 0. Now 0 would be this, and so to load our pack, we would do either 1 or -1, which will then make it. It will kind of just make it 1 automatically. I'm going to do 1 in this case. You play around with yours, see what works best. And then you want to change a few other things. You want to apply this recursively. So let's see here. Yeah, so what this really does is basically, if you're referencing other things, it will make sure to include things that you are referencing with your, even if it's in like other folders. So check that. Then you want to label assets in my directory. So check that. And then I think that's it. Because unknown really is just like always cook, I think. So just is these 3 things, chunk ID, apply recursively, and then label assets in my directory. Do those. Now our asset label is done. We want to save all, save current, and now we want to do the important thing here. We want to package this. We don't want to cook it, we want to package. So you go to package project, and then you go to, doesn't really matter actually in this case. Just click Windows 64-bit, and then in our session game, so in our project folder, we just make like a folder called like packaged mod, and then you select that folder, and now this will package our project. So now to get to your project, let's just see if I remember where this is. Right. So in your documents, you'll have Unreal projects, and then there you can find session game. Inside session game, you can find your mod, so packaged mod, and inside of that, you'll have Windows No Editor. Inside of this, you'll have the same layout as the game, so session game, content, packs, and now you will have two packs here. You'll have all the all of this stuff is in one package now, which is the point of the asset label. So let's just see, where did it go? There it is. All of that stuff is in this main package. And then in this pack, we have only the mods folder and the files inside of it. So what you want to do now is go out of here and go to your game pack folder like this, and you want to make a folder and you call it logic mods. Inside of logic mods, I already had a mod here, but inside of logic mods, and it has to be spelled exactly like this, capital L, capital M. Inside of that, you put this pack. You copy that, which is the small one with your mod. Now, the important thing is go back into your project, go to mods, and then this name, GH4 BP mod, that you have on this folder, which is the folder where you have these files, you want to give that name to this pack. You have to do that. Then you want to bypass the signing on packs, because if you just run it now, it won't work. Some games don't use .sig signatures, but to bypass signing, there is a flaw in most Unreal Engine versions. So you can just take the sig file for the main pack, this one, copy it into logic mods, and then give it the same name as your pack, like that, and that's it. Now, what we want to do, oh yeah, important thing now. So now, what you want to do is you want to install the plugin mods in my Discord. I'll have a link also in the description of this video. What you want to do is you want to install Unreal Engine plugin mods, and what you want to do is when it's installed and you have dxgi.dll in here and you have a plugins folder like this, what you want to do is Unreal Engine ModLoader. Let's use the old ModLoader, this one. That was like a test version. I've been testing for Russell. Yeah, so when you have this set up, the plugins folder with Unreal Engine ModLoader, and you have a profile set up and the ModLoader info. In ModLoader info, what you can do is set console to 0 and it won't open up a console window. Yeah. When this is all done, if you launch this game now, it should launch your mod, and you should see something pop up here in a sec. There we saw mod loaded, and every time the event is called, boom, here we have it, mod loaded. So now that we know that this works, now that we know that this mod actor is being loaded in, we can really do most about anything with this mod actor here. You can go into your mod actor and you can just write blueprint code, anything like you would do normally for any mod. So I will have another video on the topic of how to do blueprint referencing. So blueprint reference modding, where you reference things in a game and spawn them and change them in ways. But yeah, this is just how to get your basic mod setup working. So yeah, from here on, you just do blueprint modding the way you would do it. Nice. That's Lazov, a guy that made a model researcher. He just sent me the latest version of the pro version of it. Yay! So, but yeah, so this is how you do it. I'm just thinking if there's anything else I should show, but no, I don't think so. This is how to just get it up and running. So I will have other videos on how to do other stuff with blueprint modding in the future, but this is how you get it up and running. So thank you so much for watching this video tutorial, and if you want to see more tutorials, just stay tuned. The plan now is to make tutorials a little bit more frequently as I can make them. I run like a small business at the moment and like an online shop, and I'm shipping orders all day. So it's taking up a bunch of time, and then me and Genesis is gonna work on something exciting. But I will make tutorials, and I will have them on early access on a Patreon about like a month earlier for Patreons, or for patrons, and then they will be released to everyone. And so, yeah, so at least like monthly, I should have Unreal Engine tutorials coming out. I have some stuff planned, like I have like a few videos of C++ modding. I have actually a bunch, like 5 or 6 of those lined up, where I've kind of written a guideline, a script-ish guideline on them, so I know, you know, the order of things, because it's easy to forget. And actually, one of the reasons why I make these tutorials in the first place is because I want to have something to look back on and actually remember it, because geez, the amount of things I just forget because I don't do it very often is staggering. It's like crazy. Yeah, I just keep forgetting about all this stuff. I'm like, oh my god, did I know how to do that? Oh my god. And yeah, so that's one thing nice about like when I made so many of this EA Skate tutorials. The amount of times that I go back and I look at those, oh my god. Like I have to go back and look at those so much because I forgot everything. Well, that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next video. Peace, and over and out. See ya.